Alright. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another cozy art video. Now, some interesting... I have an explanation for why I already have something drawn on my paper, because... well, let's just say, in my previous art video, or attempt, I made my demon character I was talking about, and I did finish it, and I was talking about him, and I did a lot in that video. I actually I explained a lot of our character creation. I explained Amo's lore and how he came to be, and what I'm going to do with him in the future. And then I ended up just deleting the two videos, because I'm stupid and thought I had already uploaded them. And so I was like, well, I don't need these anymore. And so they're both in the void, so now I have to start all over again. But I'm going to make something good out of it. I'm going to turn this probably into two parts, since that first video actually took me a while, because I had to explain all the characters and all that. So I think this first video, I'm going to do some pre-drawing, as well with explaining, character creation. And then the second video, I think I'm going to finish drawing and explain Amo more. So this first video is not going to be necessarily about this character I'm creating. I think this first video is going to be all about just talking about how our characters developed. So it's like, as I'm drawing a developing artwork, I'm going to be explaining our developing characters, I think it'd be interesting. But in the last video, I fully drew this character. This is what he looks like. This is his new design. I know it's censored. YouTube, don't kill me. So he's a demon guy. I know this is kind of a jump scare, because it's like, oh, who's this guy? But I explained a lot what I was doing as I kept drawing him. So a very simple. So again, I don't want to explain the character too much, but in simple terms, he's a demon that lives on the planet 3, on the continent Both, and I do want to explain. No, I had to explain him in my second video, because doing this all in one video would be nice, but again, it's very late for me. I think I'm just gonna do some pre-drawing. Talk about our character. So I already started drawing him. I'm actually gonna tear this out so I can use it as a reference, just so it goes by a little bit faster. I'm also gonna go grab some of my older notebooks so I can explain the characters more. Be right back. Okay. Alright. I will set this aside. Yes, there we go. Okay. So, I'm just going to do some pre-sketching and try to figure out a bigger and better drawing. Which means I'm going to have to get rid of all this. I do want to draw him full-bodied again, but I just want to do it bigger and better. So, again, I'll just be using this as a reference. Alright, so, without getting into too much of what Amo's story is, because again, I want to get into that. I want to make a really good piece of artwork, because this is one of my main characters. So, I guess we should just see how it goes. It's hard to draw a full body when I want the character to be so big. But, so, when we were living with our sister, and she first introduced us into art, I think that was in, let's see if I can remember, that was in the house before this apartment, which we lived in for, I think, more than 5 years. And I was with her stepmom. I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. I just need to figure out the very basic stuff. So the end here, and then torso should be like about here. Gosh, I explained it all so well in my previous video. It's hard to bring it up again. Let's see. Oh gosh, I got to explain to do. Oh, it's so annoying because I can't watch my old art video to explain how I did this as I went. I think the first thing I did was actually just explain ammo in one whole video. Which I guess I could do in one whole video. You know what? I'm just gonna I'm gonna explain Amo since I feel like that'd be better as I'm drawing him, and then as I'm doing the explanation, I'll get into other details of how to create our characters as well. Screw the part 2. I'm just gonna do this all in one video. Why not? Why not, guys? Why not? More content, I suppose. So, Amo is my he's not my first character, but he's like my main character. Because like I mentioned in my previous videos, all me and my brothers, we had these like corporations with our main guys. So we each had like 3. We didn't each have 3, but we each had like one main building with some certain characters that were kind of like our main ones. So Gavin's, as I explained, was Doomsday's, and that's just like the bald. It's like the generic guy. That's what Doomsday is. Doomsday's just this very, very generic guy that runs this cool corporation of a lot of cool creatures. And yeah, I'm not sure what his is all about, but it does remember. Let's see. Ugh, man, this is so hard without bringing up my old video. I really wish I just had my old video. Gosh, there's gotta be a way. Oh well. But so I'm locking in right now for his freaking hair here. But yeah, Gavin's main thing was Doomsday's, because we each had our own. So he would do his own comics with that, and also integrate comics into ours and all that, because we all did comics together and we make the characters interact. It was all really, really cool. But the main point I'm trying to get here is that I had my main own business and all that on Both, the centric area, and that was a business called Hell House, and I'm guessing you can guess what that is heavily inspired by. But again, that was a while ago. So it was inspired by, obviously, it was inspired by Hazbin Hotel. And that's why I am drastically changing it to be way different. Because, I just realized, because I haven't drawn this character in a while. So now that I'm trying to reintegrate it and redo him in a cooler way, I want to do my own thing with him. I was technically doing my own thing, but at this point, if you're copying that hard, it's not really your own thing. But yeah, that's what he was heavily inspired by. And originally, I just placed him on top of, I just placed him in the universe of our world, just out of nowhere. Oh, hang on. But to explain how he just kind of came alive, I suppose to explain our characters, or just our character designs. So when we first moved into the house that we were with our stepmother and all that, I think it was when we first moved in is when we really started to blossom our drawing stuff with our sister and all that. We just started doing like just really crappy comics, and then it became this thing that we kind of did now and then we started creating interesting characters, and those characters would get more and more interesting because we would all try to one-up each other with cool character concepts. That's just what we did as siblings. But the first very actual character design it came out of something so weird. It was actually it was my brother, my brother Gavin, who came up with it. And you guys are gonna think we're so like schizo for this, but because we actually named the character like models as well and how they evolved. And the first ones, they were called eye poppers. That sounds so weird, but I can explain it. Basically, my brother, one time in elementary school, he saw this kid had a really, really cool backpack. And one of the designs on it, I can show you here. One of the designs was, it was like this, oh my gosh, it was like this hole with two bulging eyes coming out of it. Color in the hole. And it looked like that, kinda, like just a hole with two eyes, right? Nothing very interesting. And somehow, and apparently Gavin just was like, well, that's what all our characters are going to look like. And that's what we did. We just made all of our characters look like that. So the way that we would do it is draw like two ovals on top of each other, then draw their eyes. So very similar to the old thing. And then we would draw like a hair if they had any, and then a smiley face. And they looked, I'm not joking, guys. That's what they looked like. Below the whole thing, that's what they looked like. I can show you this notebook I have right here that has eye powers in them. So I guess I might as well get it over with. This thing is like, it's like the Necronomicon. It's horrible to look at. I hate this thing. I want to burn it. I just want to burn it. But I can show you some of the horrible creations that we had of eye poppers. Yeah, guys, we thought we were so cool making these characters, man. But yeah, let me show you good examples. So here's one of an insane asylum doctor. We obviously did little drawings below him to laugh at ourselves. Here's another one. I don't even know who this guy is because they're all so very old. But you can see the same like structure of the eyes. And then we would make like different irises and make basically have it be based around who they were, all that. There's like a robot or a destroyed robot guy. But yeah, you get it. That's how we would make our characters, and that's when we actually started to first do comics as well, and we put those characters in our comics. So that was like our first stage. And then our second stage was the same thing. It was them, but they had like more. They were more like lines as eyes, so they had like lines instead. And it was like a very quick stage that died out. And then the second stage of art was, I think it was our longest stage. I'm gonna get back to drawing so I can explain this stage a bit more. But this stage was by far the longest. It was our circle stage. So we just draw our characters as circles, and then we put like the limbs as like sticks on the circles, and then put like very simple faces and other accessories that the character would have on the circles. It was very, very simple, but it worked. It worked very well, and that's how we did comics for a very long time. I think most of our comics would have circle characters in them. So, but yeah, that's what we did. And I would say comics really flourished around that era of character creation, because the characters were very easy to draw. Again, they were circles with just like little bits here and then. So characters were extremely easy to draw, especially in that form. Let me just lock in here a bit. Gotta draw this guy's torso here. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I gotta lock in again, guys. I'm just so locked in. Also gotta make sure I'm not malforming character, because I tend to do that whenever I'm drawing at an angle. And it looks like I am. Awesome. Give me a second. I have to like tilt it at the right angle. I gotta figure out a new way of like actually drawing the characters, because I tend to malform them a little bit at this angle. There we go. That looks a lot better. I can change this little head thing. I don't need it here anymore. But yeah, the circle stage was the longest and our most creative. I mean, not our most creative, but because we had more creative stuff after that. But it's just where we created most of our stories and most of our characters. Like we don't create characters now anymore, because most of our character creation came from the circle era. Because we created pretty much hundreds of characters, each of us. and most of them died out. Some really stuck, like the one I'm drawing now, and Ozzy in the previous video. Holy crap, this guy's neck does not look right. What's going on? I gotta like really focus up for a second. This anatomy is not making sense. There we go. That looks better. I think he just needed a bigger waist or something. There we go. That looks a lot better. But yeah, we had so many characters based around like Gavin's corporation, Doomsday, my corporation, Hell House, and my other brothers. He had a couple that I forget what they were. They're all very interesting, and we make all these little stories between the characters that would happen, and it was good times in the basement, where we would just endlessly make stories, which is why we have so many actual notebooks. Hang on, I'm locking in again. There we go. Looks good. All right, and then our next era, we were like, well, what if we just started experimenting with drawing limbs and bodies? And we were already doing that for like, because we didn't do that in our comics, but we were doing it for like actual drawings. Like if we just were bored and we wanted to draw the character in a cool way, we would draw them as stick figures, kind of. But yeah, we would draw their bodies and all that. It wasn't anything. I'll go back to over here to explain. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was basically like their circular head with like a box, and then it was like that. So very simple. And then we draw them. We were developing our artwork very slowly. But yeah, that was that phase. And we were like, well, what if we started doing this in our actual comics? I was like, well, might as well give it a go. And it was kind of unsuccessful for the first bits, because we were horrible at drawing like poses and all that. I still am horrible at drawing poses to this day. That's because I don't have like any reference images. Let me see his I gotta look at a reference image of him. There we go. But then like the more we did it, the better we felt, because like I felt like our characters were actually there instead of just being like freaking circles. So it felt pretty good to do that. And then it just actually finally blossomed into the final stages. It went very fast. That era was so like, as soon as it went to the body stages, we were like, okay, now we're just gonna start drawing limbs, and then it just immediately became like it was like a whole year's worth of effort and experience. But then we got very used to actually drawing the characters' full bodies. And we all had different art styles. Like me, Gavin, my brothers still have different art styles than mine. So my art style, I like to do everything very precise. But again, this looks horrible. Hang on. Make this smaller. I think his neck is in the wrong spot here. So I'm gonna erase all of this. His neck should be like right there. That should be gone. There we go. That looks better. Where was I? But yeah. I think. Oh yeah. So our sister she wasn't there with us for the like our creation of like full body characters. I think she left around the Circle era. She had her own thing, I guess. I think she moved out of the house because she was old enough. She graduated by the time she's 3 years older than us. So, in those 3 years that she was gone, we just perfected our artwork because we had nothing else to do. We, like I said, we were in the basement, and genuinely we had nothing else to do. And so we drew every single day. I'd say that was a very good time, because then we can actually perfect our artwork. It was nice, very nice. But where was I actually? I was going off of something. But yeah, I think we kind of actually stopped doing comics it was around, I mean, pretty much since we moved into this house, or this apartment, we kind of just put the brakes on it, because we all had, or not all of us, but I got a job, and then my brother got a job, and we're all trying to do that, and we haven't done them since. So what I want to do, in the future, I'm probably going to make this into 2 videos now, since I haven't explained the actual character by now. So I know this video is all over the place, guys. So there definitely will be 2 parts. I think what I want to do with our characters in the future is start making comics again. I think that would be awesome. And I've already talked to my brothers about this, and they said it would be pretty cool. But what I want to do, basically, I think maybe I've explained this in my previous videos. I could be just ranting again. But I want to, like, start doing comics again. Where I think I have explained. Gosh, I don't remember. I wish I had that video right now. Darn. If I've already mentioned this, then you can skip ahead. But what I want to do with our comics, no, I have definitely mentioned this. Yeah, I've mentioned it. Because I think in my last drawing of this character, I explained a lot about him, and then I showed off our, like, eye poppers and all that. But I was pretty energized, and I knew what I was talking about. Right now, it's 2 a.m. and I'm just trying to redraw this character while trying to re-explain what I all explained. So forgive me if I'm a little confusing, but yeah, you know how it is. I think. Oh man, am I really? Should I do this in 2 parts? No, I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna drone on about some just crap if I stay up this late. But again, doing this in 1 part would still be pretty nice. But again, to actually fully draw this character. Oh, that's right, because I mentioned I wanted to make this like look very good, and add a lot of effects and all that. I think this will definitely be in 2 parts then, for sure. That's for sure. So I think I'm just gonna try to explain one of my original characters, like one of my first characters. I probably will be drawing him in the future, but I just want to explain him now, because I don't want to explain this guy. I want to explain this guy in my second video. One of my first ever characters was when I was still drawing with my sister. And that was like such a long time ago, and it was in the eye popper phase, I believe. So when you actually start drawing characters for the first time. And that character, let me just look at my reference images. That character's name was Todd, and basically, because it was this cool friend relationship where I would draw the character, and then my sister had the other friend of that character, or had that character. She drew the character as a friend of my character, and we would make comics together. And that's how kind of all of our characters would work. They would just be friends or related or whatever. Gotta figure out his midsection here. There we go. But yeah, so she had a character named Billy, and basically, so she had a character named Billy. I had a character named Todd, and they were like these very simple generic dudes that they met in a, what was it? It was like a camp, I think. It's called Camp Do, so some weird foreign language on Both. And Camp Do is just like, it was just like camp for kids or whatever. I completely forgot what it was, because it was like we just made something up to fit with the aspect of Billy and Todd. And in Camp Do is when Todd, the character I made, which is like this spiky blonde-haired buzz cut dude who he's kind of like a rebel, which is also Billy's a rebel. And Todd meets Billy in this camp that he gets, his mom forces him into. And Billy is like this really cool guy that Todd ends up really liking, not lovingly, but as a friend, because Billy is like a rebel, so he like pranks all the like kids in the camp, and he actually knows how to make like mini explosives as well, which is like Todd's passion. It's like, I don't know, just making explosives. And so, you know, they instantly hit it off. They become these like weapon guys that like to harass people at the camp, and that's really the whole point of them. We just kind of make them as rebels that met up in the camp, and then all the later comics it's like them dealing with life and growing up and adapting to new situations like childbirth, having like a wife and all that. So it was like just really cool thing that we did. But yeah, I would say it was pretty neat. I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. Yeah, I think it's like that. So I'd have to dip down into there, and then this would come. There we go. That does not look right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That looks a lot better. Then I can draw the front that part. And draw this going to there. And then draw that going to there. And then I'm gonna make this part extended. But yeah, that was basically my first ever true character that I messed with a lot. Because the thing with Billy and Todd is they had this like special thing about them where it was like they had this special mark together that me and my sister kind of like made into our own. And when Todd met Billy for the first time, he noticed that Billy had like this scar on his wrist that was in the shape of two X's and a smiley face. And he asked him how he got it and all that. How'd you get them scars? And Billy was like, oh, it's just like my sign of who I am. It's like a rebel or whatever. It was all very cringe. And then Todd was like, you're awesome. I kind of want to get one too. And Billy was like, sick. Then we'll strengthen our friendship and all that. And Todd gets one by, getting the mark on his wrist. Using a knife. And he gets a X-eyed frowny face. And that kind of locks in their friendship kind of forever. Well, for the most part, because we had actually had future comics of them where they actually would have squabbles and a lot of actual big issues with family and all that. It was all really cool at the time. It's all very cringe now, but oh my god, it's been 30 minutes. I feel like I haven't talked about anything. But again, that was like my first ever character. I barely draw him now. I barely remember him now. But the only reason I draw him now is because of like this nostalgia. It's like, well, oh yeah, that's like my first character. I should just draw him again, because why not? And it's definitely interesting. If I brought it up to my sister, she'd be like, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember Billy and Todd, those two goobers that we made. She would remember and all that. We had so many comics with them. Because they had like actual powers as well. Billy, it's hard to explain because the comics are so stupid back then. So I'll show you something really random. What Billy looked like, I'm gonna do a very rough sketch here, because again, these were in my iPod phase. Billy had this like toothpaste looking ass hair. I guess his eyes would be, oh yeah, that's right. Billy also had scars on his eyes, so he actually couldn't see, but I guess he could see in the comics because it made no sense. So he carved X's on his eyes as well as his wrist. So he technically was an X-eyed smiley face himself. But then he had his Billy. Now don't ask me how this is even possible, because we didn't know at the time and we were stupid. But Billy in the comics could use his mouth or grin to like interact with stuff. It was so weird. Trust me, it's so weird. I still don't get it, but he could like extend his mouth and grab stuff. And this is how, again, this is very rough, but this is how Mackenzie would draw, or my sister would draw him, like as extending his mouth in the comics. It makes absolutely no sense because it breaks reality to actually like use a two-dimensional mouth to grab something in a comic. It made no sense, but again, we were stupid as kids, so that's just what we did at the time. And then Todd eventually, in some future comics that I made, where he eventually carves his own eyes out and gets X-eyed frowny faced to fit his final like form or whatever. And there's some definitely interesting dialogue and all that happens, where Billy's not happy and all that. It was very interesting times. But we did have some cool comics with them and actual good character development because actually Billy met this woman named Chris or Obsidian. Her name was Obsidian, and Billy ended up having a child with her, and a lot of interesting stuff. Again, our comics were very like weird back then. It's hard to explain what even happened in them. But I guess all this is just to say that was my first ever character, not this guy. This is like my first ever main character because I drew Amo, or this guy. I drew Amo so much, like an absolute like it was in every comic. Because again, like I said, I just placed him in the world out of nowhere. I just like placed him there, and he was like, oh, he just saw this Doomsday guy, this big corporation guy. He's like, I want to run a business too, and Doomsday allowed him to do that, and then he just like did it. It's like, oh, well, that's very boring, obviously now, but back then I was just inspired by obviously you know what, and bored, so that's what I did, and I ended up creating this huge corporation with a lot of interesting characters. Like I still have sheets of every single demon resident that would live in Hell House, and some of them were pretty cool ideas. I'm still gonna keep most of them when I figure out what to do with the new storyline, how to introduce Amo and into Doomsday's world. But I can't explain it now because this is more about I'm just sketching the character and explaining our characters and all that. But yeah, we would draw pretty much every day as our comics, and I'd say it helped. It definitely helped in character development, and instead of just like drawing a really cool character and then having nothing to associated with it. I'm very, very talented at creating a character and making lore behind it. Just because of how much info we would dump into our comics. It was a lot, but it was good. It was very good, very, very good. I think I'm almost done like pre-sketching this character. This was supposed to be like a short sketch and talk video, just because I I deleted my other video because I'm so dumb. I don't know how to use a computer. But in my next video, I want to make this drawing very like nice looking. I want to add a lot of effects and all that, and I think I'll do a lot of that in my next video. But I want to explain Amo more. In my next video, because in this one I didn't explain it all because I don't want to. I just want to explain most of the characters. I already explained most of the characters in my previous video, but again, it's gone. So, I already explained them well enough. But I had to re-explain it, which is probably why it sounded all choppy. So I apologize if I'm like very tired and had to explain what eye poppers were in the most schizo way. But that's what we drew, and it's not a really good way to say it, like, oh, what in the hell were you guys thinking? We were kids, and it was cool at the time. But looking at the old notebook, it's like, yeah, it's pretty much looking at the Necronomicon. It's pretty awful. But it's also a nice time capsule. It's like, wow. It's not to like, you don't look. It's good to not look at things and be like, wow, it was horrible at art. It's like, no, that's just where you started to like begin your awesome journey into art, and you should look at it as like being proud of yourself for even taking that direction. Because as awful as it looks, it looked good at the time, and you're gonna be saying that again in another like 2 years, and then it's gonna happen again and again and again. So like what I'm currently drawing could be like eye popper quality in another couple of years or so. Like, you know, you just constantly get better and better and better the more you draw. And I think that's, wow, this guy's head is weird looking. Hang on, I think I drew his horns way too high or something. Again, this is freaking angle I'm drawing at. I need to, like, I'm way slumped in my chair. I'm not locked in at all. Let me actually lock in a bit here. Do some very rough sketches. That's all better. Okay. I have to redraw his horns. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's fun to laugh at crap art. That's what me and my brothers did. We would go back in our previous notebooks, and we would actually make like little insights and draw little notes, like little meme notes that would say like, "Wow, this guy sucks at art. Who's this guy?" That definitely shows in one of my most recent notebooks. It's just slop. We kind of slopified our old artwork, which is not good, but it was funny at the time. It's still funny now to see the way we kind of reacted to our old artwork through, again, artwork. So we would draw artwork on our old artwork that was making fun of the artwork and all. This was cool. Let's see here. But yeah, I am definitely so happy that I'm getting back to drawing, because as I've said before, I have not done this in a hot minute. I mean, obviously I've done it online, like I've drawn digitally and all that, but now that I'm fully getting back into rhythm, it's also explaining my characters, because I never did that as well. I had no one to explain my characters to, but now that I'm doing that, it definitely feels like definitely interesting. It's like, wow. I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of people that actually care about these characters, but I do. I love them a lot. Some of them have such awesome backstories and all that. Obviously, like, backstories I explain now are cringe, and in this next video, when I explain Amo's backstory and all that, it's probably gonna be cringe, but I'm gonna improve it, obviously, for what I want to do with comics in the future. And I don't know if I already explained it or not, but because I know I was mentioning it, or I think I explained it, but I don't know. But I explained what I want our comics to be in the future, and that is, like, we have this cool setup with the notebook, and then we draw our 4 panels, and then we draw the characters interacting with each other, and it's like a high quality picture for every single page, and then there's like a new panel, and then we had to draw, like, we obviously draw very nice with pencil and all that, so we stick to our old style and our old ways, except for now, instead of just like showing someone a notebook or whatever, we take a picture of it with a really nice cool setup and a cool theme. We put the notebook on a piece of wood or whatever, and then we upload all the images to like a scrolling comic website that we'd make. And that's my idea for what I want to do with comics, basically, is have all our stories, be able to click a button and then see the story in drawn form on a piece of paper that's taken with a nice camera quality and all that. That's what I really want to do. That's my idea with comics, basically, is to take pictures of the notebooks so that people can just see them. And the thing is that we don't have to like make new stories. We still can make new stories, and that's what we're gonna do. But we can also remake every old story and make it a lot better. So in the next video, when I explain Amo's hardships and the stories that he went through, I can explain how I'm gonna improve them in the future comics if we end up doing that. And I think that'll be really cool. For sure, that'll be very, very cool. But yeah, for now, I'm just gonna finish doing this little rough sketch, and then I'll probably like do some off-camera strip mining, and I'll probably touch them up a little bit, and then in my final video, I want to really start touching them up and finishing his looks and all that, and then make some cool background, all that stuff. But yeah, this video I just kind of want to explain our character development and all that. it's just hard to repeat all this because I don't remember what I said in the previous video, but whatever. What can you do? In the next video, I will probably have more energy and all that. But again, tonight it's just it's a little difficult. But I hope y'all can understand. But would that mean tomorrow I have to do my Isaac video as well? So I'll probably have to either postpone the Isaac video or something. We'll see. I'm gonna skip drawing the hands for now because that should take me forever. I don't know what I'm doing for those yet. I would like to know what I'm doing for the hands before I start drawing them. I'm pretty sure every artist can relate with how horrible it is to draw hands. It's pretty awful. All right, let me just see if I can draw this guy's legs here. There we go. Make sure this isn't lopsided, so it always tends to be. There we go. Hang on, just making sure this isn't lopsided. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing here. There we go. Alright, just had to do some quick sketching there. I'm trying to think of to bring up something else, but I'm not really sure what. I'm trying to think of what I said in my previous video. Because I was just kind of ranting about the eye popper thing. That was fun to talk about. Gosh, what did I say? It's I'm trying to think what I mentioned. I'm also still trying to be locked in for drawing his legs here because that can be difficult. Oh yeah, in my previous video, I kind of remodeled this whole character. So this is not what he looked like at all in the slightest. And it is a little bit. I kept some old features. But I think in my next video, I'll show you his old design. Because that's the design that I used to draw. Like for every single comic for like 2 years. He stayed basically the exact same. But the thing is, his character design was very like boring. I mean, he was literally just like a demon with one broken horn and like a sweatshirt. That was it. And it was just kind of this very basic, like, chill demon guy. But that's not what I'm going for. Again, like I said, I was heavily inspired, but at that point. What I'm going for is going to be more beastly and more demonic. Oh yeah, in my previous video I explained. Oh yeah, 'cause that'll be in my next video. I explained all the sanctions of hell, and I explained why I'm drawing him more beastly and in certain ways and certain designs. I will explain every sanction of hell in my perception of it, and I'll explain. Because again, like I said, I was heavily inspired. That's why I'm massively changing it now. Or I already massively changed it in my head. But I massively changed it because, again, I was straight up ripping it off at that point. I'm locking in again here, guys. Give me a second. There we go. That's a lot better looking. Gotta get the backward legs on. There we go. But yeah, I would definitely go deeper into Amo's lore. The way he actually came to be through in the old comics, how I introduced him and how I made him go through all the hardships that would develop him as a character. Because like I said, he was my most drawn character, and that wouldn't be without just like drawing him. I actually made lore about him and all that. It's like he went through a lot of hardships and all that. But again, I'm gonna explain all this in my next video when I fully finish this drawing. Yeah, he had a lot. he actually has a lot of lore. Now that I think about it, which I'll explain. But then my ass decided to delete a video. Let's go, guys. So smart. But I'm making something better out of it. That's the good thing. I'm making a better drawing, and I believe that you should always make things better if it happens to go wrong. That's for sure. There we go. There we go. I'm just so locked in with the legs here, guys. I'm so very locked in. But yeah, I hope to do this with some more of my future characters as well, because I already did this for Ozzy, where I... Whoa, why does he look like that? This looks right to me. Looks right, I guess. It's probably gonna look a little malformed, but what doesn't, I guess. But yeah, I do enjoy explaining these characters and all the lore bits. Because again, we drew so many characters that had such deep backstories. It's hard to even just explain the amount of stuff that we just had, amount of character development, amount of character interaction, so much stuff. It was actually nuts. Because I do have a whole chest in the back of my room full of old comics. Just goes to show how much we actually, how bored we really were. But you know, I'm glad we made something out of that board. There we go. Looks a lot better. There we go. That definitely looks a lot better. If I do this, and then do that, and then do that, and then I want to add these little things. And I'm going to add some fur actually on here instead. But yeah, next video I will definitely go into further detail about who this character is. It must be pretty confusing, just me drawing him and not even explaining anything about him, especially in his new model and design and why I'm... What the heck was that? I thought I heard something in that room. But yeah, it would be hard to... It must be hard to watch and not explain why he looks the way he is and what he previously looked like. But I will get that in my... I will explain that in my second video. I promise. I promise I would. But in this video, I'm just kind of delirious and a little bit EP, I guess. This is why I'm so busy on, or I'm so locked in, and I'm actually drawing him and not explaining much. But I'm doing pretty good, I think. I think. Let me just see if this looks good. Yeah, looks good. I think I'm gonna make his arm different here. But I can edit that later. Alright. Well, I mean, I've got the basic shape down. Those look pretty nice. I'm definitely gonna make the arms, make him hit a different pose probably, because it's kind of looking like the same drawing I just showed you in the beginning of the video. But this is just a very, again, this is a lot shorter than my previous art videos, just because I already did this and I'm just a little wiry brained, I guess, suppose. But here's like the basic shape I'm going for. And then there's a lot more empty space over there. I'll probably just draw his name and stats and all that and his explanation. Maybe I'll draw him in like doing little bits. I wanted to like fully flesh out this piece of paper. I want you guys to make it. I want you guys to see how like how advanced this character is. I'm changing him obviously, and that's all gonna be the next video. I'm gonna be explaining him. I'm gonna be like, well, this is this is his previous story. But again, this video, I kind of just I had to go through what eye poppers were and what our characters would look like, and it was probably choppy, but you know, I mean, sorry, I guess. But yeah, no, it went pretty well, I'd say. I guess lesson learned: don't delete your videos unless you actually upload them to YouTube. My dumbass. I could probably like put a reminder or something on my wall, or because it does create 2 videos every time I do this, so like I could just delete 1 video. I'm like really dumb with technology. It's actually embarrassing how dumb I am with technology. I bought this PC. I don't even know how it works. So if it stops working one day, I am absolutely fried, battered, tattered, cooked, all of the above. It's so over. But yeah, in my next video, I'm gonna fully flesh this out. I'll probably have most of it, not most of it, like half of it done, and then I will continue drawing it. I'm gonna like really flesh this out for you guys because I know this video was kind of a little bit lame, but I'm gonna next video when I have enough energy, I'm definitely gonna really flesh this out for you guys, and you guys will probably love it. Maybe if I'm feeling brave enough, I will also trace it digitally and put it online. Maybe that'll be a really good idea too. We'll see. But for now, I just wanted to do kind of a quick explanation and trace video, or not trace, but a sketch video, so that I can actually start building the bricks to my better future video. You know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video and all that. I am about to get some very nice sleep. I'm very tired. But yeah, I really did hope you guys enjoyed watching. Again, shorter video. Shorter as in almost an hour, but you know how it is here. Basically, do the basic bits. You can hit a like there, I guess, and subscribe. Do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I shall see you in. It might be my next Isaac video. Yep, because I kind of fell out of rhythm, so I'm trying to get back into it. I might take frequent breaks there here as well. So I am pretty busy with an actual job as well. But I will see you guys in my next Isaac video where I will be. What was I gonna do? Ooh, I think I'm going to do Tainted Lost and see how that goes. So I'm gonna do Tainted Lost. We'll see. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Bye bye.